those of you guys who...
Hello, hello, hello. This is Dan Lutz, and welcome to WWG1WGA.love, also known as Where We Go When We Go All.love. And that is our site to actually look at the front lines in the battle against the cabal. And I'm battling the cabal, getting online today. And of course, then get phone calls in the middle. Yes. So interesting. I was trying to get on, and a couple of things just kept cropping up, and I had to restart twice to get online. So interesting enough. All right. So we've been covering Dr. Dave Janda, which is, queued up here. He has something important that is going to be announced Friday. And we're going to listen to what he has to say about this. He's not revealing it, but the lead up to what is going on is he is becoming one of the sources, the focal points where information is released. And we have to be aware that there's very much a controlled rollout of this information. We want all the arrests to happen right away and all this. I want it to be done right. I want it to be successful. I want them to take them all out. And this slow process of getting them in a panic, you can tell they're in a panic. That's why when they're speaking, they don't even make sense, even more than usual. I mean, literally going against anyone's logical thinking could even put that together. It's all doesn't make any sense. But there is some things happening. Now, first, we've been following Dr. Dave Janda about the hammer. The hammer is a very important piece of information that he let out about a spying system. This came from generals that came onto his show, which is Operation Freedom. And they announced that this system was put into place by Obama, Clapper, and Brennan. And the system was to spy on Americans, millions of Americans. The system was originally designed to spy on foreigners, or based on the adversaries around the world. And there were safeguards put in place to prevent it from being used against Americans. They conspired to change this system to actually use it as a way to gather data. Now, David Janda doesn't go into this part, but that information was to be auctioned, to be used as a way of also planting information on your computers, so that if they want to blackmail you for anything and there's no reason, nothing they have on you, they can put something there. So when this was announced, when this came out, this is a big story. This involves Obama, Clapper, Brennan, top of the security apparatus, spying on Americans, illegal, treasonous. The very next day, the Russian collusion, delusion scandal starts, going after Trump as a way to cover up what they've been doing. Don't talk about the hammer. And what they do is they find what their people have been doing and use it as the issue. So HRC was using this to sell uranium to Russians. So she had her own Russian collusion story. So they put that on Trump because that's what they do. They project their crimes on their foe. Makes it a very difficult battle, especially when power people that are in power are on that one side. Now Trump, was now the one in power, and it's taken him a long time to wrangle the power away from them. The other thing that Dave Janet brought out is what happened in Benghazi. Another very important story that they even made movies about to cover up what actually happened there. And when those people could have been rescued, they weren't, and the reasons why. So this is all coming out, and now that he's saying that there's a countdown to Friday, something important is going to happen. We were expecting it to happen, now. The IG report, maybe the indictments, maybe Comey goes down. Something is going to happen on Friday. Now, Q's been quiet last 2 days. Okay, there's reasons why he goes quiet. So, all right, so we're queued up now. Let's see. Let's hear from Dr. Dave Janda exactly what is going on, and we'll plan for it.
Inside. And because of the national security implications from yet another whistleblower, I have been asked to release that information as soon as possible to the public. And that will be released this Friday. I know you're busy, but I assure you, the information you see in that report, you will never get from the bought-off mainstream fake media. Now I want to turn to today's topic. President Trump and AG Barr are melting, destroying the deep state's attempted. Excuse me. This is what I think got the deep state all riled up and started the melting process. President Trump orders the FBI CIA to fully cooperate with AG Barr, grants full and complete authority to declassify. This is what really got the ball rolling. President Trump, on May 23rd, announced that he had directed the U.S. intelligence community to, quote, quickly and fully cooperate with the Attorney General's investigation into surveillance activities of the 2016 presidential election, adding that Attorney General William Barr has been given, quote, complete authority to declassify information pertaining to this investigation. President Trump further went on to say, today's action, quote, today's action will help ensure that all Americans learn the truth about the events that occurred.
Okay, so Friday, but what is it? So as he's leading into the topic of Barr being given the ability to declassify anything related to this Russian collusion delusion. And this has really got them really spooked, because they can't hold back the information. And if they do, the people that are in place could literally be removed and criminally prosecuted for disobeying this, right? So because they would then be colluding. So we're going to see that we're going to see if people fall. If they continue to try it and cover it up, hide it, doesn't it make them look even worse? You think that's part of this agenda, is to really listen? We're having a few days, to Friday to build up to something. We're going to see another one of these foxtrots happening, right? In order to persuade everyone to from listening to the news coming out, right? Well, look how big this last foxtrot was. This whole Russian collusion narrative that came out was all to distract from the hammer. All to distract from the hammer. It also, pushes the spotlight about Russian collusion on Trump and not on HRC. So they are truly panicked at this point, and at the point when Trump is there in England after leaving from Japan, shoring up a true ally, and going to England and say, and with everything, all armaments at his side and at the ready, he goes and meets with the Queen. The bankers, Mnuchin is there. Big power play. This is the ultimate in deal making. So there is going to be a big shakeup, and things are not going to be the way they've been. And this is what Trump is telling them. So you better get your ducks in a row. You better be able to, fix your problems on your side, because this is not going to ever happen again. And and if they're talking about on the financial side with Mnuchin there, what's going to happen? Is Mnuchin going to stay on? Has Mnuchin been the one that's been stopping the flow of funds, from happening? There is a lot of tactics going on, and we're just covering some of the basics. So let's see what's going to happen this Friday. I'm going to suggest that everybody literally support Dave Janda on this broadcast. Go there. First of all, be sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel. Be sure to go to his website, davejanda.com, and subscribe. Help him out. He has a free site and a subscription. At least participate on the free site. Join. Have people that that it would be interesting watch what's going to happen with Dave Janda on Friday. What is this announcement? Everything is set. All of this maneuvering has all been set up, and now this reliable source of information, the one that started the Russian collusion delusion because of his bringing out a news story, it's obvious that this is the time when something is going to happen. Now, there may be another, as I said, foxtrot. I use that because of in pursuit of truth, instead of using that double F word. There's a lot ready to go. So please take some effort to make sure you spread that information for Dr. David Janda, and let's watch what happens on Friday. Of course, we're doing it here, but please participate with Dr. Dave Janda, because it's important that his site, his website, has an influx of people coming to view this. It's going to be made available for the public, is what he said. So it'll probably be on his free site. So it's good to go there and participate. So we only have another 3 days to wait. Now, if anything else is out there to stop it from happening, stopping this information from coming out, it would only be delayed by days. I don't think that this is that we're going to see any kind of overall, shutdown of the internet. I think this slow drip of this information, this basically pointed out into it's the same tactic that the left has been using, the communists have been using, to slowly change things over time so that nobody can really react in a very big way against it. It just keeps slowly rolling out. So one of the things Q has said is that we're going to use the same weapons, their weapons against us, on them. that's also the slow drip out of information, the slowly changing and waking up. Instead of slowly putting people to sleep over years and decades, this is waking people up over weeks and months, a couple of years. So we're right at this phase where there's something big that's about to happen. We've already been on the offense in the month of May. A lot of things have, the mindset has changed. Everything has aligned. And now, as I said, Trump being in England at this time, it's ahead of schedule for this anniversary, isn't it? I don't, sometimes the plan, not the cabal plan, the Patriot plan. The Patriot plan, it was announced at some, back before, we're 3 days ahead of schedule. So they have things that they want to get accomplished. How long do we know the bar was to be put in place? Don't know. Don't know if they picked him way before or this is something that came out after. But he's definitely, out there in his interviews and saying, what are they going to do to me? Prevent my career from advancing? He wants to basically fix all of this problems, which is basically the complete corruption of the FBI and the Department of Justice, and literally the corruption throughout the whole deep state, to clean it all up. This is just the offense is just starting, and we're 2.5 years into Trump's first term. I think he deserves a third term. I'm gonna mention a couple of other things. Dan Bongino's show, very well worth watching. I didn't finish listening to it this morning, but tying Obama in with the PDs and the people working with him in this arena, the interweaving of these same individuals to protect one another, everything is laid out and diagrammed, and there's some new things happening, arrests that took place at an airport, and Obama's fixing attorney, his fixer, shows up to rescue this guy for the second time. So there is a lot of this stuff going on. So tune into Dave Janda, tune into Dan Bongino. Keep in the loop on these things because it is happening, and it's all going to be such an avalanche. When you're in the avalanche movies and everything, you start hearing the slight rumble in the distance. You're just listening. Avalanche is on, but it's going to gain power and speed, and when it's there, it's going to go. All right, I'm gonna discuss something else. Now, I had a meeting in Manila yesterday, and it takes me a while to get there and back. So it really takes a very big part of my day to travel to Manila for a meeting, but it was well worth it. And there's a big government project that's going on here that I'm going to help push it along. It's to do a cleanup of a very big lake, the lake that I look at every day. It is, I never really compared them directly in size, but you want to consider like the Great Lakes of New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Illinois, all the Great Lakes regions. Picture one of those lakes. This is 1.5 million hectares, right? Which is probably somewhere around 4 million acres, probably 3.8 million acres lake. And it needs to be cleaned up. So great project. But besides telling you about the project, there is a because of this time delay in getting around, I found myself at a position where I could see a movie in the evening. I said, well, doesn't do me any good right now. Travel, a lot of traffic at certain times and everything, so I said, okay, I'm gonna see a movie. I saw Godzilla #2. Now, when I was a kid, loved all of those Japanese monster films, right? Godzilla, Ghidorah, Gamera, Mothra, Rodan, and all of these monsters were in this particular film. But what they've been doing to us in this slow drip of the cabal has been teaching us, trained animals, that we're bad dog. Go lay in the corner, bad dog. Teaching us that humans are bad. We're the problem. And it was so much the theme of this movie. I was going, why? I mean, it literally is, about turning the planet over to the reptile overlords, the original gods. I'm not kidding. To wake up all of these ancients and let them renew the earth. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, well, why do they want to ruin this? I remember, I was thinking, if my grandson was here, I'd love to take him to this film. And then I said, how am I going to explain this part? I wouldn't even want him to see it now. Humans are bad. We're the cause. And there was even some androgynous things thrown in there, some slight information to kind of drift you that towards an androgynous society. But the overlords, the original reptile overlords, being the ones that are out there that we should be really worshiping, right? And let them renew the planet. Make a new deal. It's another 16,000 years or so. We'll just take another round around the galaxy, and let's see where we end up after another 16,000 years of this. I couldn't even this admiralty law, maritime law, commercialization of stripping everything. You remember in the it's very funny. I was thinking of that Back to the Future. They like to point out that like Trump was prophesized in the Back to the Future films, right? And they had a guy at this casino, and it was a very dark and dreary thing. They had a lot of pollution going into the air, and Trump is like, the Trump-like character, right? There was there, the head of the casino, right, smoking big cigars, and but again, dreary future, because going down the road we're going to. Do you think everything that they're talking about fixing is going to be fixed, or it's going to get worse? It's going to get much worse, because they're not. They project. Listen, I know I was part of the original environmental group, the Isaac Walton League in California. I was part of it for about 10 years. It was a grassroots effort where the people on the ground found a problem locally, and then that became the issue up the next level, county, state, national. They're the first group they were responsible for the clean water, clean air bills back in the 1970s. This is about solving problems. The environmental groups that are top down, tied into the government, are all about the cocktail parties and about the big donations and how they can pat themselves on the back on how good they are and their hearts are pure. But do they solve anything? No. All they get to do is say humans are bad and we're the problem and we must be removed from the planet. Well, they'll be saved because they're in the 10% that will still be allowed because they know they think correctly. Trained dogs. They bought into the training. You go along with it because they have no critical thinking skills. If you stand back and you look at what you're doing and you realize that that's not going to solve the problem. Your answer to remove people is not the answer. We are fleas on the planet. We have, if we're sucking oil out, okay, fine. Is there an impact? Yes. Oil is gone from there. But you know what happened in the oil fields in Texas when they got all dried out and everything switched over to Saudi Arabia during the 70s, 80s, it started? A lot of those oil fields filled up again. They went back to them and suddenly there's more oil. How did that happen? One volcano going off puts out more CO2 than we ever have combined in all of the existence. And all the other pollutants from one volcano, major volcano eruption. So this is all fake and phony that they try and feed us. Fake, phony, feed. And we need to really just wake up to these things. All right. Well, I'm going to go and check out the chat room. Let's see what's going on there. I did post the link for this hangout. It's in the WWG1, WGA.love Telegram group. Right, so let me line this up one moment. We've got 89 watching, 23 thumbs up. Hey, don't forget your thumbs ups. It matters. Okay, share the screen. Okay. Let's slide up to the top, see where we're at. Bula Vinica, Dan. I don't know what Bula Vinica means, but thank you, I think. It just seems like it's like Bula Bula. It sounds, you know what? Actually, Bula in the Philippines, Tagalog, is kind of like you're lying. Just a little side note. Bula Bula. Yeah, it'd be like if you're talking to a girl, right, and telling her some sweet nothing, she'd say, "Oh, it's like a silver tongue, lying, right? Bula Bula, that kind of thing." Not that I ever. Oh, I may have, but I was always truthful in what I said. But they would say Bula Bula. Okay. Okay. Hi, all. Blessings in D class. All right. Well, I'm gonna increase the size here. Give me a moment. here. Oh, I got to the top. All right. Okay. Just keep going. Yeah, I do like watching the Vincent Vendetta. It's a pretty cool. I tend to think, the way it comes off though is like, is this controlled opposition? Are they getting set to direct us somewhere? It seems like something that they would have prepared, but I do appreciate the effort. But it does cross my mind every now and again. But I'm open. I'll say Elon Musk already got his first 80 or so satellites for the global internet active in space. As soon as 400 are up, it will go live. Yes, and he has 14,000 planned. I think it's over 4 years, and that would basically do it. It'll be interesting. Actually, I involved here. I was going to be the vice president. I still may end up being the vice president of a new telephone company here in the Philippines. It was formed with the idea to be what was mandated by President Duterte, a third telephone company, because the service is kind of spotty on a lot of fronts and so on. But anyway, so a group formed. A friend of mine asked me to participate, and and so I started getting involved with it. And now the third telco was selected and basically awarded. Now they have certain things they have to do by certain times. I tell you that when I read through what was being asked, because I actually read what the government was asking. It was a very big document. It's an application process and a point system. I read through it, and when I scored this out, you had to spend really to maximize your points. That's what I was looking to do. How much money you would need, not how to build it. I looked at the core issue. You don't have the money, you can't build it. And this is basically coming down to spending billions of dollars a month. And I knew everything that they were the group that I was involved with, which was set up as a co-op for the people, right? Which is a brilliant idea. Loved it, and they were going to have. And the co-ops here in the Philippines are very strong. They are. It's really the only way, and that this poorer class has any way to participate at a level that they would normally participate in buying, whatever the co-ops are selling, but getting the money back as they distribute, the profits to the people. So great idea, but they lost because they really did not organize to get the money, but the company that did get it is a Chinese-backed company, and the co-op plan we had was to use the co-op owned facilities to put up towers, right? And so we already have locations, in other words, to put these. So we want to put up 30,000 towers around the Philippines for this purpose. So this is still something that to participate in using this would also be able to a way for it to work. So that's we met on that, and also on the lake project as well, to move these things along. And I would think that these overall these projects have a way of uplifting all of the Philippines, if they're truly run for the Philippines. And I say the other two phone companies that are here, you know, they really work to extract every small little centavo. That's like the pennies per the dollar from the people, and they literally cheat. They do. Um, I'll preload my phone, because you can have postpaid or prepaid. Most everyone does prepaid, so I'll load my phone and I'll check back, and my load is gone. Common problem here. Now you can go and stand in line for hours, complain about it, and magically they'll send you back the funds because obviously you did load it. It was not spent on a plan, and they give it back to you. But that's ridiculous, right? It's a ridiculous way of doing things. So that's taking the people that are doing prepaid are really mostly the poor. Anyway, it's okay. Well, I think well, I'll just continue on here, and I want to get through this. Actually, that's one of the phone calls that came. That call that came in was from the one that put together the project. So I'm going to want to call him back before I get on with a tank on the Dank Live, which is about 45 minutes from now. Thank you for gracing the show with your divine energy. Well, thank you for my divine energy. Thanks you. Me too. Pretty much gave up on everyone saying something will happen soon, but always looking forward to finally happening. Well, I think on the soon we're talking about the things that are happening now. We see a little, there is progress, that there is actually things that do happen. But the long-term goal of literally removing the deep state, removing the apparatus, all its tentacles and every little, line of control and influence that it has to be extracted. And it'd be great if it'd be like this. If you pulled it out fast, you'd leave so much behind it grow back. Can't have it grow back. I'm awesome today. Well, you're awesome too, Randy. Thank you. Laugh out loud. I laugh out loud a lot. Edge of Wonder. Yeah, I was actually watching some of them. Light on Elizabeth Willock's inspiring stories and miraculous angel experiences. So interesting. I don't think I've seen that one. I'll check it out. I was just listening to them last night. Actually, how I fell asleep listening to guys at Edge of Wonder. They had a live broadcast. I was a recorded part, but it was one of their live ones I was watching. Interesting. Now they also did some shows with David Wilcox and Corey Good and interviews, and I enjoyed those. Right, and so I enjoy the information I'm getting. But now I understand, why Thomas was saying blue chicken cult. I got it now. The whole story, so it's a disheartening on one level, but the information is flowing through. I do know Pete Peterson is real. I just don't know what else is real in regards to that information flowing through. It could be partly controlled opposition, sending out a certain narrative that they want to come out and using these people as pawns. Hard to know. Okay, yeah, the young couple. I missed something here. All right, we'll just slide on down. Oh, we got to the bottom. All right. All right, people. Again, you're welcome to have joined me, but no one has showed up. So we will go ahead and close down the broadcast for today. Again, I encourage you to watch both of these at Dan Bongino and Dave Janda, and see keep up with them. I think they're both very important on keeping up with the front lines. So until later with Dank Live, I will catch you. Bye.